from the Washington and said, okay, it's not that easy. It's not that easy to do the carbon trading. There's a long way around. There's maybe you need a years. So I think it's very hard. When you talk with somebody from the top level, and then you go to the grassroots level, and there's no connection. The people over there, they are poverty, they're hungry, and they want to see the money tomorrow, so they can save the forest. But the top level said, no, forget it. You need years to do that. So yeah, there's some uncertainty about the carbon trading. And the last thing is about I want to address the question to Ms. Amanda Katali. SBA said 26%. It is not logic. So 26%, we will reduce the carbon emission. How? We are not Singaporean. We are not Singapore. If we are Singapore, we can do that. But how about the law enforcement? I've been visiting a lot of the forests and then, cut forest everything. I think my question is how you can reach the 26% reduction with the condition of Indonesia like this, with the lack of the force enforcement. And the question is for Your Highness, you have assigned to be ambassador in the various countries, right? From the Bangladesh, also from the Burma, and the Burma also nice, interesting because now they released the Aung San Suu Kyi. And can you have a lesson learned how the Bangladesh, Zimbabwe take care of the forest, and is there anything that you can apply to solve the problem in Indonesia? Is there any model that can work in here? Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Okay, a lot of question, complaint, and arguments. We'll go to the third question, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Ambassador Canning, Mrs. Amanda, and Bapak Rektor. As I have read, UK government and Indonesian government...
Can you identify yourself, please?
I'm sorry. My name is Clarissa, and I'm from the postgraduate program, University of Indonesia, International Relations Department. As I have read, UK government and Indonesian government have the Memorandum of Understanding on Climate Change, which signed in Poznan on December 2008, if I'm not mistaken. What I want to ask is, in order to address environmental concern, and how significant is the MOU itself to solve the environmental problems in Indonesia? Thank you.
The fourth question. Yang pertanyaan kelima bisa stand tunggu di sana. Pertanyaan kelima.
Good morning. My name is Berta. I came from Biology Department from Faculty of Mathematics and Science of University of Indonesia. And what I'm talking here is just about sharing. Okay, in biology we have one program named Backspeak or Biology Exploring Week. This program is trying to share our knowledge to general people. Start from kindergarten student and then elementary until senior high school, and also the academics in other university. And what we have problem here is first we lack of expert speaker that expert in politics and also in the environment. What I'm talking here is, can you help us to be one of that speaker, or maybe Mrs. Amanda can help us to find the expert speaker. And somehow it's hard to have a speaker in general lecture in our faculty about climate change. We know that biology is one of major science that imply to climate change. So would you like to give us a public lecture in Faculty of Mathematics and Science? Thank you.
Thank you, Melika. Yeah, next.
Good morning. My name is Angga, undergraduate students majoring in communication science from Bunda Mulia University. Well, first, I have ever read about the article, in a short article, that in the next few decades that our Earth is going to be lack of water, going to be lack of the green areas. Well, actually, the people, they don't realize about the urgency of the climate change. So, what we should do to realize those people who do not care about the climate change itself? Well, actually, if I have already got the suggestions, people keep saying that everything must begin from ourselves first. That can be true. However, they who do not care about that, it's really difficult to be told or to be informed about the urgency of this. Thank you.
Thank you. And our last one, yeah, please.
Morning, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity for me to talk. I'm Henrik Taslim from PT Global Green. PT Global Green is a private sector company which we set up only for environmental business. Because of this climate change issue, so about 3 to 4 years ago, we are thinking within our family, how could we give support globally with this environmental issue, especially also how we change the mindset from a logging company in Indonesian forest, which we have known that our forest condition is degraded already in so many areas, which if we keep continuing on doing the business of logging only, that's not enough to change the climate to be better. So we decided to come to this business line where we can develop a business, but we give solution for globally, and we give development for the local community, which is our thinking. The most important thing is when we want to change, when we do something better, we need to change the mindset first. And it's involved globally. Everybody have to understand that we are talking about climate change is not just a climate change, because maybe not everybody is understanding about that. When we are talking about on the ground level, people is thinking about what can I eat today, right? To me, that's the most important, how people can survive day to day. Therefore, our thinking is before we can talking about the business, we have to think first how we can approach the local community, how we can change their mindset, to change paradigm, how to do things that, yes, in the past we have to get money from logging, from killing animal, but now we can still survive, but we planting the tree for protecting the tree, protecting the endemic flora and fauna. Therefore, I think we need very huge support globally, from the political, from the science, from the institution, from everybody. One of my messages is only that from a business side, we already try our best to use our own money. We don't get any support from anywhere. Even the information is not clear actually. Where we can track the information to help we do this business, because we want to be. Actually, my vision is few years ago. I think it might be too early. We would like to develop a big role model of environmental business. So we hope that globally, people not only thinking how to get the resource, to get the money, but people have to think how to protect the resources, the natural resources, but we can have good living for everybody. That's my point. Therefore, maybe one of my messages, maybe hopefully we all here gathering from the university, from embassy, from local, national, international, and student also. Hopefully we can work together as synergy. I believe that we are talking about global change, climate. Personally, people understand that yes, day to day we feel the climate is more hot. When we are going to some other country where before we are very cold, the weather is very cold, but now when we go there, we don't need any jacket anymore. Yeah, like Genting in Malaysia, we can feel it very dramatically change. Also in Indonesia, there are so many problems of the climate. We can see that when the wet season, the dry season is changing unpredictable, and it's sorry to say, its impact to the local communities' welfare. So my message is hopefully we can work together, and also we need to develop a national or global communication line so everybody can access the information. For example, from us, we are focusing on the work to the work day. I am not the political, and I am not much, don't have too much networking anywhere. So we need support, where to go, where's the direction to go, where to get information, and hopefully we can get support. Because our intention is not only profit, but our intention is let's develop welfare for everybody. So we have a win-win solution, everybody to be win. That's it. Thank you very much.
Right. Okay, we have a list of questions, complaints, arguments, and messages. So I will just let the panel to answer it.
Thank you for all your questions. I think we must have had at least 20 questions when you stood up. We will try and remember them all so that we can answer. One of my major roles within the UK Climate Change Unit is dealing with the international negotiations, mainly with the UNFCCC, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So I'd like to address the points made about Kyoto Protocol and the future. First, I'd like to assure you that the UK is 100% behind Kyoto Protocol. We worked very hard last year to ensure that the second Kyoto Protocol, KP2, would be agreed in Durban last December. We're very pleased that did go through. And we really we want to show that we will be responsible for our past, and we want to show that we will commit to everybody's future. I understand of course it's important that we get the big players, the big hitters, signed up to some part of deal. And for me, what was the inspiration in Durban at the end of last year was that for the first time we had a clear signal from China that they will consider coming in to a globally, legally binding deal in 2015, looking ahead to 2020. And for me, that was a huge moment. That was a massive change in what we've seen in previous years. And that gives me, and I hope it gives everybody, hope for the future of the UNFCCC process. I think that process has two main themes. The first theme is to build the case for increased global ambition. Essentially, that means let's do more. The second theme is to ensure progress towards that global legally binding deal so that we can keep the average temperature increase to within 2 degrees. And what that means is let's do it together. Let's do more. Let's do it together. It's only by doing more, it's only by working together to do that we will ensure your future, your children's future and your grandchildren's future is the future that you have for them in here. It's that picture that we're fighting for, and I do believe we can reach it. Regarding the peatlands, as part of that, Indonesia has the world's biggest peatland reserves. The peatland in Indonesia has more carbon held within it, stored within it, than the whole of the Amazon rainforest, which I think is an amazing fact. Obviously, it's essential that we can protect that, not only for Indonesia's benefit, but for the benefit of the whole world. I think with REDD+ and the deals that are currently being worked out within the UNFCCC, while peatland is not earmarked specifically within that, I think this is where your domestic action as part of the global, I think this is where it works. You have, last year you launched the Rencana Aksi Nasional Gas Rumah Kaca, the National Action Plan to reduce emissions by greenhouse gases, and it's how you translate that here in Indonesia. It's how you ensure that that will include peatland. It's how it can then reflect up at the global level. Okay, that's what I'd like to say about the international side. If I can pass it over.
Thanks, Stuart. I think the point that was raised about the concerns of the average person about what are they going to eat, what's their welfare, what's their jobs, what's their housing like is very important. We in the UK are obviously very aware that although Indonesia is the 18th largest economy by total GDP, that if you look at GDP per capita, Indonesia is still at a very low level of $3,500–4,000 per capita. So that means that the concerns and the priorities for growth are probably the #1 priority in Indonesia for the future. And we are very aware of that. We know that Indonesia has to continue to grow, to provide the employment, to provide the growth that will help your economy develop in the future. But there are choices. There are choices about how that growth takes place. Now, one of the interesting things in Indonesia is that the energy demand in the future, and this comes back to the point about urbanization, is going to continue to grow. At present, I think something like only 67% of households in Indonesia have access to modern forms of energy, electricity. And the plan is to get to 90% by 2025, 2027. Now, to do that, the amount of energy capacity that will have to be installed is quite a staggering number. At the moment, there's 36,000 megawatts of energy installed in Indonesia, and the estimates are that that could grow by 5 times to meet future energy demand. So there's a real choice here, which is, does Indonesia do that primarily through coal, which is terrible for climate change because of the greenhouse gases, or does it try to do as much as it can through renewable energy? And I'm sure many people in the room know that Indonesia is blessed with the world's largest geothermal resources, which is wonderful for energy because it provides a constant baseload, but is also wonderful for climate change because the emissions is virtually zero. So the issue is, can we, in partnership and also with others, work to try to help Indonesia move more towards renewable energy? And the good news is we can do that, but it requires commitment, policy commitment, which is there in Indonesia, but it also requires a change in the fiscal system to create the incentives. And this comes right back to one of the first points that the ambassador made, that we have to have fiscal incentives which encourage investment in that type of energy. Now, we are working with the Ministry of Finance to do that, but so are many others. Organizations like the World Bank, for example, are providing a lot of finance in Indonesia to support renewable energy. Your government has made a commitment to move from 4%, which you currently get from renewables, to 17%, and we will work in partnership with the government to try to reach that target. So we do recognize the importance of energy, the importance of urbanization, because although the emissions from forestry and land use change are the most important contributor at the moment, if we fast forward to 2025, it will be energy, transportation, urbanization which become the big drivers. And we have to get that right. And we don't have to get that right just in Indonesia, it's in all of the large emerging economies. We have to get that right, because if everybody goes down the coal route, then the ambitions for 2-degree limit or 4-degree limit look virtually impossible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for all the excellent questions and inputs. I'm not going to mention who asked the questions, but I'm just going to review what has been asked or commented. In relation to the scientific database that you asked, the Indonesian National Council on Climate Change organized several activities related to the University Science and Technology Network, or Science and Technology Networks on Climate Change. So there have been several meetings already, and we asked the rectors of the universities to send their representatives. And UI was represented by Dr. Yatna. And in those events,